You're welcome back to the program. Let's have a conversation about road accidents. In the studio with me, Nana Ame here, President of the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals. Nana, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And also here in the studio with me is Henry Asomani. He is a project coordinator with the National Road Safety Commission. And very soon in the conversation, we'll be taking your thoughts on social media. And hopefully, if you have any questions, they'll help us answer it. Let's start this conversation. And I'm going to come to you, National Road Safety Commission. Mr. Asomani, we've had this conversation before, and I don't think, it doesn't look to me like we're going to stop. Hopefully, this time around, there will be some concrete actions, a roadmap. Is there anything like that?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your listeners. I must say road safety is an issue that we would always talk about. So far as people use the roads, we would have to talk about it every time to
But there are some
awareness.
things that need closure. There are some things that you can work around and bring closure, like the Adenta Medina Road we've been talking about.
Yes, I think this week, and credit to the media, the Adenta Medina Road, the Legon, actually from Legon to Adenta stretch of the road has come up a lot. And we give credit to the media for bringing this issue up. It's an issue that has been there for some time, that all stakeholders have been battling with to get it solved. And there are a lot of issues that has come up with that. Yes, it's an eyesore. It's an eyesore.
It's beyond an eyesore, I think.
Okay, it's an eyesore to see a road constructed and pedestrians not given the freeway to cross. It's a 5-lane road, both sides, which makes it 10.
Okay.
Because there are 3 main roads, 3 main lanes, and then 2 on the side.
Okay.
So if a pedestrian wants to cross such a road, it means that a pedestrian is going to walk across 10 lanes, which would keep him on the road for more than a minute. We have speeding vehicles that are passing through. And this, we know our driving attitude in Ghana. When the road is good, we think that then it means we have the right of way, we can speed up.
No, and actually this road is it looks like, well, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a highway, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a highway. So when I get on the highway, all I do is go.
No, when you get on the highway, not all you do is go. There are rules governing the highway. If a highway passes through settlement, you cannot go more than 50 kilometers per hour. And believe you me, on that road from Legon to Adenta Junction, you cannot drive more than 50 kilometers per hour. Because
Really?
there are settlements right across the road up to that side. So that's why I said, yes, when we are driving and we are on such roads, we think that we have the right to speed.
So
not
some
giving
of the residents,
not giving room to the pedestrians to cross.
And that's the point.
Then
I wanted, hold on, I wanted to come to the point that one of the pedestrians or one of the people that we spoke to said, what about the road marks? Is that a part of your responsibility as a National Road Safety Commission?
Okay, maybe let me just give a broad responsibility of the National Road Safety Commission.
Based on what you just said,
Yes.
that this is a road that's passing through residential areas. So people, drivers should be mindful of that. But do they have the signs that gives them notification that, look, you don't do this, you don't do that around this place?
As a general rule, whether there is a speed limit sign there or not, it's a rule on our roads that the maximum speed you can go is 90 kilometers per hour, apart from the Tema Accra motorway, which I know you'll be coming on to. So let's just apart from the Tema Accra motorway, where you can go up to 100. Then the general speed limit also says that when that highway, which you can go up to 90 kilometers per hour, is running through a town, you need not go more than 50 kilometers per hour. And this is whether the sign is there or not. You understand? As a driver, before you start driving, you should know these rules. And whether the signage is there or not, you are supposed to do that.
Okay.
I am not making excuses why the signage should not be there, but I'm only saying that the signage not being there is not an excuse for you to speed up, because there's a silent rule which if you go into the Road Traffic Act and then the LI, it is stated.
So since we're not hearing the silent rule, why don't you make it loud enough for us to hear and for us to comply? Especially since you don't have cameras that can, you know, regulate the way people behave on the road.
Maybe I didn't get you right. Let me.
Since you're saying that it's a silent rule, that once you're a driver, you should know.
Yes.
That it's,
you know, before you are a broadcaster, you know all the rules governing broadcasting. If I am a driver and I'm supposed to be driving a vehicle, I am supposed to know it. It's not something that you should be told.
No, I understand.
Before you even start driving, you should know that.
I understand.
You understand?
But you should
not,
know.
As I said, I'm not making an excuse for why it is not on the road.
Okay.
So yes, the residents at Madina Adenta have a genuine case, because you can't construct such a road without giving them the leeway to cross.
Okay.
And that is what is happening there. They don't have areas they can cross apart from the intersections. And these intersections are far wide apart, such that one cannot walk to the intersection to cross. So they end up crossing at areas where they come into conflict with vehicles.
Okay, I'd like to come to, let me bring Nana into this conversation, but I'll come back to you and find out from you what the National Road Safety Commission, for example, can do at on this stretch, the Adenta, you say Legon, so let's say the Legon Madina Adenta stretch.
Even it goes beyond that. You know, I don't know but it goes beyond the Adenta junction, up to is it
about
the Oyarifa area? Yes.
They're about getting to a Brie.
Yes, before you go to the toll booth through to.
But I think the problem really is around.
The problems around Madina Zongo Junction, Reese Junction, and Adenta.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I'll come
because
to
those are areas that are highly populated,
areas,
and you expect that people would cross the road.
Very well. I use that road every day, and when you get to the Zongo Junction, it's total madness. But I will come back to you to find out what the National Road Safety can do in the immediate term. But let me find out from you, Nana Anomi here. I don't know if you've been following this conversation. We've been having it for some time now. What's happening on the Adenta Road? But this is not exclusive to the Adenta Road. This is something that's happening in other parts of the country. Just this afternoon, we heard about another accident in the Western region, which the reporter just reported. On this weekend, the Deputy Minister of Communication was involved in an accident. So I'm wondering, we've had this conversation over and over and over again. What do you think is a missing link?
Well, the missing link is that in this country, the media have a firefighting approach to incidents that happen on the road, instead of having preventive culture. Now, why do I say the preventive culture? If some of these things that are the causal factors of road crashes and road accidents that you have on our roads, if repeatedly the media is so minded and they go out there and tell the Ministry for Roads and Highways that we've identified that these overpass that are supposed to give access to pedestrians to cross a 10-lane highway, the N1, there are no staircase there. So
but we've done these stories over and over and over again. And tell you what, Nana, the picture in the background, what we see in the background, fix our footbridges now. I've seen it it's been like over 2 months since we've said that. The media has done their bit. This is a pressure group that's come together to do this. It's been there for some time. Here we are still talking about the same problem.
Yes, that's why sometimes I believe that the media, you do what you call ephemeral reporting. You go and then you talk about it, you touch it, and then it dies natural death, and you don't revisit it again. Now, if you had been doing persistent reporting and to actually find that the minister that you've been pestering to fix these footbridges, you've gone to him, you've harassed him, and you've done what other places the media will do. I'm sure I think
we've done what any media organization
would do. But let's come down to the N1.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about this silent rule that my good Henry friend is
You don't
saying.
agree with him, do you? Just like I do.
The silent rule. You see, we have 3 types of roads. You have the collectors road, you have the arterial roads, and you have the motorways. The Americans call it expressway.
Okay.
Now, the N1 that you see there is a hybrid. It's a cross between an arterial road and an expressway or a motorway. Now, I know a little bit about that N1. So when it was constructed to be a motorway, an expressway, that will cut the perishable goods from Nsawam to the airport. That was what the Americans gave us the funding for the N1. Now, because it was passing through settlements, there was a need, because you cannot use an expressway passing through a settlement without making provisions for pedestrians on the other side to cross over to the other side. So hence, they identified, the designers of that road identified that there should be as many as 12 footbridges to allow pedestrians to cross over to the other side of the road. But there were, as far as my memory, if I stand corrected, but there were only about 3 footbridges. And
we were actually told that some more will be constructed.
Yeah, but how many years have we had this N1? So I don't want to hear that. Now, so there were only about 2 or 3 that were built. And then when you build these footbridges, then it's down to the National Road Safety Commission to do sensitization and put measures in place to educate the settlers or the pedestrians or the road users at that time, who is something foreign to them. They didn't know the dangers of crossing 10 lanes to the other side. I have seen myself, because when I drive going to Western region, I use that road. And I've seen women with children on their backs, some of them even heavily pregnant, crossing that 10 lanes to the other side of the road. And imagine, that road has about vehicles doing 150 kilometers an hour, because I have checked. And when you see the
150?
Oh yes, more than that, because sometimes I'm doing about 80 kilometers, and when I see vehicles zooming past
you, then you know
you can tell that they're doing double my speed, or 160. So there are certain interventions that we needed to put in place and do a lot of sensitization. But when you talk about sensitization, where is the money coming from for sensitization?
Do you feel that the National Road Safety Commission has not done enough sensitization?
Well, they've done their bit, because when they were even opening the N1, I remember about a year after, the National Road Safety Commission went there and set camp there and did certain road safety outreach. And I was part of that road safety outreach.
Hang on for me, and let's go to Parliament, because earlier we understood that there was a debate on the floor of Parliament about this particular matter. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is our parliamentary correspondent. He joins me on the line now. Hello, Joseph.
Hello, Gifty.
Tell us what the members of Parliament have been saying about this situation.
Let me begin with some details that we've gotten from the Member of Parliament for the area, Boniface Abubakar, who is also the Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development. I had an interview with him, and he's been explaining that the President himself, this issue has been brought to his attention during a cabinet meeting. And the President has directed the Minister for Finance to release money to the Minister for Roads and Highways in order for the completion of the 6 footbridges that have been left uncompleted for more than 10 years, he said. What he's telling me, portions of that money has already been released. He wasn't able to tell me specifically how much has been released, but he says that following the discussion, portions of the money have been released to the contractor, and an agreement has been reached with the contractor that he leaves the work that needs to be done for new contractors to be brought in. So he explains that 3 different contractors are being brought in. Each of them will be doing 2 of the bridges, and so they are expected to get to work soon. And from the information he's gotten from the Ministry of Roads and Highways, it could take them up to 3 months to go through the procurement processes. And then once that is done, and the 3 contractors eventually get tied, they would have about a month to then go ahead and complete.
Joseph, hold on. If I understand what you're saying, this issue about the Adenta Medina Legon Road we're discussing has been brought to the attention of the President at Cabinet. The President made directed the Ministry of Finance to make money available. Some of the money has been made available to the ministry, and the ministry is saying that different contractors are going to be employed or brought on board to
Three
finish.
different contractors.
3 different contractors are going to be brought on board to finish the work on this stretch of road. Is that correct?
So that's what Boniface Abubakar, the Member of Parliament for Madina, is telling me. He's also he does attend cabinet meetings, and so that's the information he's actually giving us. And he adds that the expectation is that from the briefing he's gotten from the roads minister, with the new contractors being brought in, it will still take a while. It could take them up to 3 months to go through all the necessary procurement processes, and that when they eventually get to site, it could take them about a month to then get the work done and the bridges will be complete.
So 3 months to go through the procurement processes, about a month to finish the rest of the work. Is that it?
That's what Mr. Abubakar Sadiq tells.
But do we know why they have to take on new contractors, 3 different contractors at this point?
So the 3 he explains is because they would want to speed up the work that needs to be done, so that then it wouldn't be a single contractor going from one side to the other and doing all the sticks. And then he explained that the main contractor who worked on the road and was supposed to have done the bridges has actually moved away from that particular area and is doing some other work further down around the Abri area. And so he's virtually moved all the equipment. And from the explanation that he gave, that was the contractor who had consent and was asking for the payment of previous funds that hadn't been paid before then to get the work done. But an agreement has been reached with him that he will let go of the final work that needs to be done on it, so that then the new contractors will be brought in. So the decision to bring in the new contractors is, first of all, to have several of them so they can quickly get the work done. And secondly, because the main contractor himself is undertaking a different project elsewhere, they would want him to focus attention on that so that then the new team would be brought in.
That's pretty interesting. But how did the other members of parliament react to this, especially the member of parliament for Adenta and the others? What did they say?
And there was some additional information. There were questions about in the interim, then what exactly happened? And this was something that some of the MPs had asked about. And Mr. Abubakar Sadiq has been explaining that there is a meeting of the Municipal Security Council scheduled for tomorrow morning. And at that level, the interventions would be discussed. And one of the issues that they are considering is to get the guards, the Metropolitan Guard, deployed to the area, so that then as and when people need to do the crossing, vantage points would be identified, they would be there in order to stop vehicles that are coming in and then get the people to cross. So that's one of the interventions. But generally, the MPs have been making reference to other such situations in different parts of the country, specifically the poor nature of roads, which has led to accident situations. The MP for Lejokuku, Bernard Okoboy, drew attention to the accident involving the Deputy Communications Minister, George Anda, and also 6 other persons on the Accra-Cape Road, and said that some of these incidents are the result of negligence and recklessness on the part of drivers. And so he is asking that the law takes its course to deter others from doing that. Kwame Akboja, the Member of Parliament for the Adaklo constituency, for example, is asking government to increase investment when it comes to the road sector, generally help deal with all the potholes and all the other safety issues. And also, Samuel George, the MP for Ningo Prampram, was drawing attention to the Tema motorway, for example, which he says has become a dead trap. Wabia Samoa says this is an issue that is very dear to government and that the necessary steps will be taken to make that portion of the road safe again for pedestrians.
Okay. Well, Joseph, we'll say a very big thanks to you. But is that all there was to the discussion today in Parliament, or were there any reactions we should know of?
And so one other issue that came up eventually when the issue was debated on the floor, the first Deputy Speaker, Joseph Osei-Owusu, who is also who today sat in as Speaker, has given a directive that within 2 weeks, information should be sent out to the Minister for Transport in order for him to prepare and come brief parliamentarians on what the safety measures are and what government is doing to make the road safe. And so the Minister for Transport has been summoned and he's expected to appear before the House within the next 2 weeks to brief MPs on what is being done to ensure that the Medina Adenta Road and other roads that MPs draw attention to, that they become death traps, are rectified so deaths are not continually recorded on those stretches.
Joseph, thank you very much for that update. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is a parliamentary correspondent bringing us up to speed on what's happening. Mind you, I said there has been a debate in Parliament about this. What we're learning, as he said, is that the Transport Minister has been summoned and is expected to be in Parliament in the next 2 weeks. Well, hopefully nobody will die between now and then. But we don't know that, do we? Nana, I'm coming to you before I go back to the National Road Safety Commission, and I want to take your views or your reaction to what the discussion has been in Parliament today. He's saying, you followed what
Yes,
he's saying,
yes.
right? So how do you react to this? Is this swift enough for you? Is the action, the sort of action they're taking, the discussions, the talk in Parliament, is that even enough? Is it swift enough for you?
Well, when you talk about swift, I don't know what you're talking about, swift enough. You see, we sit in a country and we behave like the proverbial kokosechi, whom I say says when he sees that when it's going to rain, then he says he's going to build his house, isn't it? I don't know whether you are aware of that folklore. Now the spotlight is on Adentan because it has happened at Adentan. So we are running helter-skelter to go and fix the problem there. Now tomorrow it will be at Sege. So then the Sege MP will be on the
Now
spot.
what has happened in
So
Adenta actually, Nana, is that some of the residents themselves came together and said this is wrong, and they started they put together a pressure group, and I think that is what's driving this.
I will lend my support to that pressure group as an advocate. Now I've said it on in other places that very soon we the advocates, you know, we're going to do a survey and ask Ghanaians, for every Ghanaian that has lost a relative within the last 5 years, we want to bring them all together. I'm sure we'll get over 5 million Ghanaians, and we're going to go on a massive demonstration to show the authorities that they should not take the citizenry for granted. Because many times you hear 10 people dead here, 20 people dead, and this accident, 15,000 maimed in a year. What are they doing about it? There's nothing. So it really breaks my heart when you hear that a deputy minister have had an incident and then he's in a critical situation. We hear that the military will go and use a helicopter to go and uplift him from where he is to Kolebu or what have you. What happened to that poor young 37, whatever it is, that young 3-year-old that needed an ambulance to pick that child to Kolebu? So it took so long that even they had to call the CEO of National Ambulance Service to arrange an ambulance. So what are we talking about?
Okay, so now what you're saying is that they're saying that the ministry says, the finance ministry has released some monies. We're still looking at Adenta. The finance minister has released some money, and in 3 months they're going to go through the procurement process. Hopefully in 1 month they should finish. So we're looking at about 4 months from here. In the meantime, the next 2 weeks they've summoned the transport minister to come to Parliament and to explain what is happening and what his outfit is doing about it. In the meantime, again, they're looking at bringing metropolitan guards on the road to, stop the vehicles at every given, point and allow people to cross, which is what happens anyway. These interventions, they're not satisfactory for you.
See, what causes accidents is unsafe human behavior, that's driver behavior, and unsafe road conditions. These are the causal factors of road crashes. Now, until we have a holistic policy, structured solution to ensuring that these incidents that happen, human behavior. Now, I gave pictures to your producer to upload so that I can speak to them. Now, how do you see human beings being carried as cargo? I really want your viewers to look at what I gave to you.
Well, hopefully when we have that picture, we'll put it on.
When you see somebody like that, 3 people sitting on top of a load, and in the event of any rapid deceleration, those 3 human beings are going to fall off, and
so what I really want from you is that you're not you as a citizen, you're not satisfied with the sort of intervention we're getting from Parliament.
I'm not at all, because
okay, let me bring in the National Road Safety Commission.
The reason why I'm not satisfied, in April this year, we are in April this year, the president said that he have released 355 million Ghana cedis to roads and highways to fix the potholes and the line markings on our road. Till date, if you ask the Roads and Highways Minister, such monies have not even reached them yet. And when you ask them, they say, oh yes, it's in the pipeline, is this, but the release, the press statement was said emphatically that they have released 355 million cedis for road maintenance and filling of potholes and line markings. And these are some of the unsafe road conditions that cause road crashes and road accidents.
Let me come to the National Road Safety Commission and find out from you. I told you earlier that I would come back to you and find out what you can do about the situation on our hand at the moment. Okay,
thank you very much. Can I address some issues before I get to this? Or
let's make it quick. Okay. We're pretty pressed for time.
Okay. As a commission, as I said, our main mandate is creation of awareness. And this is something that we have been doing over the period. We try to change attitudes. We have, there's a slogan in safety, and Nana will bear me out because he's a safety expert, better than me, that safety starts with you as an individual.
Okay.
You see, I believe in do not allow the negligence of somebody to create a problem for you. That is to get you maimed, to get you dead or something. If we all agree that yes, these things should be fixed.
There's a problem.
There's a problem.
So
but
how do you keep yourself safe whilst measures are put in place to deal with the problem?
Yes, that's the first thing you should look at. How do you keep yourself safe when you want to cross the road? So, but we know I want to give examples as even places that we have these pedestrian crossings. You see people walking under this pedestrian crossing, and Nana will bear me, and Nana has a lot of pictures which he shows. You see people walking directly under these pedestrian crossings. You see people at traffic lights where there are pelican crossings. When it is green for the vehicle, that is when they want to cross. You see, so I'm not.
It's when they want to cross, or they're just not paying attention to the light.
No, it's not about paying attention to the light. It is about being patient. You see, some of these things is just about patience. That let me wait for my turn, and it's not just for the pedestrian. Even some drivers do that. It will be red, but he would want to cross. You understand? So one, you should ensure that where I want to cross is safe for me, but I'm not making excuses for why they are not there.
I get you.
But I'm saying that you should ensure that the place is safe for me to cross.
Okay.
Can I cross here? If yes, is it safe at this particular time for me to cross? If yes, okay, then I can cross. But if any of these are no, then it means that you should not cross.
Okay.
We haven't provided it. The engineers have not provided it. But when you want to cross, there are speeding vehicles coming. Never think that I can cross before the vehicle passes.
So the point
because
that you're
as
making,
I said, safety starts with you as an individual.
So even though someone else has created the problem, even though government is not doing enough as you would expect to deal with the problem, you have a personal responsibility to keep yourself safe.
You have the first responsibility
to keep yourself safe. That's the point you're making. So people should look out for themselves. But I'm asking again, as a commission, what can you do with this particular situation?
As I said, by our mandate, we create awareness, which we are doing. Then also, we need to bring stakeholders together to ensure that it is fixed. And this is a situation that has been on our laps or on our hands for a very long time. Nana will bear me out because Nana is one of our very close advocates, which we speak to every day. And this is something we have taken up with these road agencies that, Charlie, this situation is not good.
Yeah.
And we have, before even your statistics came up, Nana will bear me out, we have statistics to show what happens on the road already, which we have shared with these road agencies. And I'm happy to hear today that funding has been released for that to be done. That has been the main issue with the road agencies. It was about funding. And
I
then Anna mentioned something about the memo that was released in April. Yes, it is true. The memo was released in April by the president, from the presidency. But let me just make a little clarification. It didn't say it has released. It said it has directed a body. Normally, it has directed someone to release that amount. So it's not like they have already released it at that time. They had directed it to be done. Okay. But it had not been done yet.
Okay, let me bring our viewers into this conversation, and I'm going to go on Facebook to read for you some of the comments that you've been sharing with us, and then I'll come and take their concluding thoughts. Sa Viola says, we must block that road one day to express our anger since they have failed to deliver. And be mindful of the words you use, by the way, I think. Kwekusin GA says, I think the blood spillage is used for something. You think so? Well, I don't know. What I know is that we ought to keep ourselves safe on the road. Kekeli from Medina says, just fix our bridges. And she puts an emoji there, a teary emoji there. And as Kobina says, people die on roads like animals in Ghana, and that's quite pathetic. Let me come back to you, my guest here in the studio, and wrap up with your very final concluding comments. Nana, let me start with you. What are your final and concluding comments? Now, I am looking at the way forward and how we move, you know, this discussion forward for the solution of the problem. You are obviously not, you know, excited about the interventions, you know, what government, what parliament is saying they want to do. First of all, monies have been released, 3 months for procurement, 1 month, hopefully, the footbridge will be completed. They're bringing in metropolitan gas, which is what they do already. What really do you want to see going forward? Your final comment.
Gifty, you see, there are only two things when they come together that create an accident or a crash on our road. Unsafe behavior and then unsafe road condition. Now, we have the police out there to ensure that unsafe behavior or driver behavior is punished. But they look on and they don't care what you do. You can drink like a fish.
And they don't care. And so you're saying that the police should do more?
The enforcement is number one. And then the road users as well should be educated. And that's where the National Road Safety Commission come into play, where they're supposed to do a lot of sensitization, because we have a lot of ignorant. The video, the picture that I was going to talk
about.
Now, look at, I saw this picture on the Gimpa bypass. A whole family on a Sunday riding in that with a 3-month-old baby in that, what do they call it, the auto rickshaw. It's called
the tricycle?
Abubuya.
The tricycle?
Who on earth? I mean, a policeman will see this and he should not even travel 50 meters. They should be stopped and they should be punished, because the road law doesn't allow you to be carried in in such a vehicle open without any seat belts, without anything, including a 3-month-old baby. And in fact, I had other pictures, but I couldn't download it.
That's okay.
So for me, look at this. Look at this on the Tama motorway. There's a gaping hole on the motorway, that you, drivers are doing, or vehicles are doing 150 kilometers an hour. This one, I had it because one of, you know, I ride motorbikes. I'm a motorbike enthusiast. Now, one of our bikers in the night, he didn't see this pothole and fell into it and died.
Oh. And
fell into it and died. And this is a motorway that's supposed to be...
So this pothole we're seeing here has killed somebody.
And has caused more than 2-3 accidents that I know.
So there are several things.
So these
the
are
road,
the things,
not just the footbridge,
but
the condition of the road.
Untold number of hazards on our roads. That when the authorities are working, the highways, they take toll. Look at, they take toll on a daily basis. What do they do with the tolls that they collect on Tamamoto Way? If they do that and they ensure that maintenance is up to scratch, these incidents will not happen, and we will not have the untold number of incidents and accidents that we are having on our roads.
Okay. Nana, thank you very much. Your final comments.
As I said, as a road user, safety starts with you. You should always ensure your safety before you make a move. Then also, I would like to appeal to the media I saw the campaign that the media did on Galamsey. And it went very well, it went very deep because you reach far. I would want to indulge the media to also pick road safety like that. Shout road safety, tag road safety, say road safety, everywhere, eat road safety. Every morning, maybe before you even start your program, you can give a road safety tip. If you need the materials, I would personally bring them to
We need the material because we wanted to start, we actually started a road safety tip, segment as part of this. But, sometimes getting the resources, to put it out there, getting the information to put it out there. So if you have the information, by all means.
Yes, so that you would pick it up.
I have untold amount of information to give you, but
problem.
let me end on this quote. There's a quote I want to leave for your viewers. I came across this quote. It says, safety is something you hold in between your ears, not something you hold in your hands.
Okay. So safety is something you hold in between your ears, not something you hold in your hands.
And my last words would be patient on the road, not a patient in the hospital.
Be patient on the road, not be a patient in the hospital. Now, we're laughing over this, but this is a serious matter. People are dying. Human beings are dying. Lives are being lost. People who could have impacts on society are dying because of the road accident. As we speak, just as we're having this conversation, a few minutes ago, we just heard of an accident on the Accra-Tema motorway. We understand that one person has died and about 4 others have been severely injured and they've been sent to the hospital. We're just talking about it today. And count from the weekend up until now, several people have been involved in accident. We know of the communications minister, deputy communications minister. Of course we heard it because he's the deputy communications minister. But there are several people who are dying on our roads that are not being reported, that we don't even get to know about. And these are issues that have to be addressed. It's not just about the footbridges. Or you heard some of those that we spoke to at Adenta say there are road signs, there are road marks that they want to see, reflectors, traffic lights that are not functioning. We need to get all of these working. But your responsibility, your safety is your responsibility, and you need to keep yourself safe, like our panelists have said. So I've been doing this with Nana Ami here, who is a safety expert. Nana, thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure.
And also been here with Henry Asomani, who is a project manager at the National Road Safety Commission. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Asomani.
Thank you.
In the meantime.